Hey guys, welcome to another video of mine. It's Come On Double A, and this is another video of mine. This video, it's a bit of a different one. We know that obviously we have a transfer ban, and obviously there's not much Chelsea news regarding this. Obviously we know that Moussa Sarri has officially been announced as Juventus manager. Frank Lampard will become Chelsea manager. So there's not too much to discuss regarding transfers and etc. But as you can tell from the title, I decided to really go in depth with the football club. And when I mean by in depth, I mean, the club structure, who is officially running our club. We know Abramovich is the owner, but going inside the club, the board directors, the chief executive, each of the person's role, the four people that run our football club, what their exact roles is. I'll be delving into the club's finances as well, how much we've turned over the course of this year, how much we make of match days, tickets, broadcasting revenues, Nike deals, sponsorships, etc. Going to really delve into the club's finances, how much we potentially have to play with next season in the summer window once our transfer ban has officially ended, potential loans and how much money we can make off that. I'll then also be talking about the scenario or anything that happened if Roman Abramovich did ever sell the football club. I'll be going over the best case scenario, the worst case scenario and the most realistic case scenario. And I'll also be giving you guys my thoughts and opinions across the video. But I wanted to get really, in depth and in detail because a lot of you guys know that obviously, you guys know, we make quite a bit. We're quite an elite club when it comes to making revenue and the type of players and caliber we have. Obviously, that Roman Abramovich is the owner, but you guys, I want to, go into depth and give you guys, inform you guys. Like I said, I've done a lot of research for this video for you, so if you can show the support and love, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing I want to mention is the club finances. And now, Chelsea have today announced their annual financial results for the year, which ended in June 2018, with the club once again recording our highest ever turnover figure and a new record high profit. The group turnover figure grew to 443.4 million from 361.3 million in the previous year, so it's about an increase of 22.7% as the revenues exceeded 400 million for the first time in the club's history. So straight off the bat, you can tell the revenue has increased significantly, partly due to the Champions League money, the sponsorship deals, etc. So when it comes to the financial side, we all know that we're doing well, we're exceeding, we're excelling. As you can see all the statistics I've got right now. The record revenues as well as a profit on player sales of 113 million helped the club achieve a record high profit for the year after tax of 62 million. These results ensure the club continues to comply with UEFA's break-even criteria under the Financial Fair Play (FFP) regulations. Broadcasting revenues increased by 41.7 million to 204.1 million, primarily as a result of the club returning to the UEFA Champions League competition in the year. Like I just mentioned now about the Champions League money that we gained during that season, and especially this season. Stamford Bridge continued to sell out on match days, and despite ticket prices remaining frozen in the 2011-12 levels, the club's participation in Champions League helped achieve an overall increase in matchday revenues of 8.4 million in the 2017-18 season, where we were playing in the Champions League that season. Revenue from commercial activities grew by 32 million following the signing of several partnership deals, including with our new official kit supplier, Nike. It's what I mean. So last season, when Marina Grand Sky officially tied us down to that Nike deal, obviously it was a 60 million a year deal, total of 5 seasons. So it's about 300 million a year deal with Nike, but obviously 60 million per season. And yeah, that's basically going over in depth into the club's finances. Like I said, we made a turnover of 443.4 million pounds. Like I said, 22.7% increase from the previous year. And next season, we're going to have so much to play around. Now, take some context, take it with a pinch of salt. Of course, we have to abide by FFP, so we can't go crazy before this. We have a lot of money. If you look at, using these figures and statistics and how much we've made from player sales, obviously we've just sold Hazard for 100 million. We're not going to spend in the next 2 transfer windows. We've already sold some players. Next season, we're going to be selling players like Willian, Alonso. So outgoing loans as well, how much we make off the academy. The sale of Hazard, obviously £100 million, and that would be rising with the add-ons, etc. So we will be making a lot more, plus the Champions League money that we haven't spent. We could potentially spend 600, 700 million or so next season, but of course that's not going to happen. Reasons why, obviously, you have to abide by the FFP regulations. You have to balance the books, basically. And obviously, wages, etc. So, you know, we will approximately have around 300 and 350 million pounds in the summer window next season to play with, and I think that next season will be a fantastic season to do. You know, plan, prepare, scout the players that we need, and make sure that we got our top choice targets and get the world class players that are going to elevate our squad and bolster it, rather than signing average players that block the path of the youth. But like I said, this is good news. Like I said, on the financial side, Chelsea have never failed. First time in history as a club exceeded £400 million in profit. And to be honest, it's fantastic news financially. But it's the footballing side that we've always said has been the issue. But when it comes to club finances, I've just told you the figures and statistics. We're excelling. We're doing fantastically well. But, you know, hitting new figures every single season. We're making so much, we're turning over millions and millions and almost billions. And to be honest, next season we will have a lot of money to play around with. And like I said, I've already mentioned the side. Chelsea reported a 32 million increase in commercial revenues following several partnership deals, including a kit deal with Nike, worth reported 60 million a year. So yeah, like I said, with the plenty of sponsorships that Mourinho and Sky, our director, who's kind of done, you know, we've done fantastically well. Now, the other thing that I want to mention as well is the club structure. Now, what I mean by club structure is, obviously, we know that Roman Abramovich is the owner and he has issues with coming to country. So Mourinho and Sky, who's the director of Chelsea, has full reins of the football club. But within the boards, we have Eugene, who is the chief executive, Mourinho Sky, who's the director, and we also have Bruce Buck, who is the chairman. Now, obviously, the chairman's role is to basically ensure the club is running smoothly, the finances are, you know, coming in, etc., that we're not making a loss, that the club is continually profiting, but also the player sales are doing well, that, you know, when we're making transfer negotiations, that we're not playing too much, etc. So he's basically a bit head, basically. He's the chairman of the football club, so he does all the negotiations, etc. What Mourinho Sky's job is, she's a director, so she directs everything. She has people that work for her, you know, scouts. So Scott McLachlan, he's the international scout of the football club, and she basically does all the finances. She does all the finances. She gets all the sponsorship deals, the Nike deals, etc. So she sorts out all the deals for herself. And then we've got the other chief executives who deals with the other stuff. So when they have meetings with other chief executives from other clubs when they're trying to sell Hazard. So for example, when we sold Hazard, Real Madrid's chief executive flown over to Chelsea to speak with Eugene, who is our chief executive, to finalise the deal, etc. So all these directors are important, you know, in basically running the football club, etc. Like I said, club finances has always been excelling, but it's the footballing side that we've always struggled with. We haven't got a director of football. That's a fact. That's why Petr Cech will be returning as a director of football, technical director. Didier Drogba will be returning as ambassador, and Claude Makélélé will be returning as a coach. So interesting times ahead as well. And Joe Cole is already a coach at Chelsea, so with the potential return of Frank Lampard as well, it's interesting times ahead. Interesting times. We're having a whole revamp of the board. You know, more footballing ideologies, more footballing brains within the board, within the coaching system, within the academy, and finally with the transfer ban, we can fully integrate the youth now. But that's regarding club structure. I've already gone over the club's finances. I've gone into detail of the club's finances. But in the final video, in the final part of this video, I wanted to mention was the scenario if Roman Abramovich ever decided to sell the football club. Now, there's always been rumour and speculation over the course of the year of him selling. You know, the rumoured fee was he wanted to sell the club around £3 billion. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's the richest British citizen, was really interested in buying the club at one point. He's officially bought Nice in France. We had other Arab owners who were also really interested at the time of buying Chelsea. These rumours and speculation has died down, but what I want to talk about is whatever happens if Roman Abramovich ever decided to sell the club. And to be honest, yeah, just want to get over that. So basically, the best case scenario if he ever sold. Now, the best case scenario for Chelsea and their fans would be that another rich owner would buy the club. That he would bought the same thing and they started singing players for fun. Basically, he would do what Roman's been doing for the past decade, but with bigger intensity. That kind of owner would probably come from the Middle East, like the City owners or the PSG owners. The owners would probably be even better than Abramovich, at least in terms of investment into players. The club might even win more trophies with that kind of an owner. This scenario isn't the most realistic, however, given that there aren't that many owners in the world that could afford the cost. Chelsea is valued around £3 billion, like I just mentioned. And the other issue that we do have, I want to mention in the worst case scenario is Chelsea already owe Roman Abramovich over £1 billion in debt. We owe him nearly £1.2 billion. The correct figure is £1.18 billion we do owe Roman Abramovich, because that's the amount of money he's pumped into the football club. So if he ever decided to sell him, we would have to pay him back. We are in debt to him, so that's the issue. The new owner who would buy the football club would have to pay that debt inside. And to be honest, Chelsea is such a big club at this point that to make a profit out of the football club is so hard now, because just to buy the football club would be £3 billion off the bat. And many rich owners wouldn't do that anyway. They'd have to, take loans out of the bank and then slowly pay that back and try and make profits rather than pump money into the club. That's why I just mentioned that even though it's the best case scenario, it isn't the most realistic case scenario, because most owners in the world wouldn't be able to even afford to buy a football club. And like I said, Chelsea's valued around £3 billion. This means the new owner would have to pay about £3 billion just to buy the club. Then there'd have to be transfer fees and weekly paychecks, etc. In essence, there aren't that many people with that kind of money, and there are even less that were just itching to spend their hard-earned money. Now, moving on to the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario would be that no one would want to buy the club because it's too expensive, the valuation is too high. This would mean that the club would have to sell all their star players. Chelsea wouldn't be able to bring in any decent replacements, which would make a club very average. In the end, Chelsea would potentially end up being in League 2 or League 3. This scenario did happen at Portsmouth and Leeds United, but Chelsea has luckily become too big for that to happen. This means that this scenario would also be unrealistic because we're so big now, we're so elite. The problem is that when an owner buys a football club, they'd have to be too rich enough for that to happen, with too much of a gargantuan institution for that to happen. And like I said, we might have to sell some of our star players, but we're too big in that sense of finances and type of club that we are, that it'd be extremely unlikely and rare that it would end up like a team like Leeds United or Portsmouth. And the most realistic scenario, and the scenario that I believe would happen if he did ever sell, is something in between. That's also the scenario I believe would happen if Abramovich would suddenly leave Chelsea. When Abramovich would left the club, it might be bought by an owner who would be more similar to the Glazers or Kroenke, someone who'd want to earn money from the club and not just splash their cash. He wouldn't buy the club with his own money, but also with the bank's money that would leave Chelsea in debt, like United. Those kind of owners would be effective owners, but would most likely change Chelsea to the worse. Chelsea would probably fall to Liverpool's level, and they would have massive problems winning trophies, and that's a simple fact. In essence, Chelsea would return back to the time before Roman Abramovich, a time where they won many trophies, and fans' morale wasn't as high as now. But that's the most realistic scenario if that ever happened. Obviously, it's all rumour and speculation that he would sell the club, but that's the evaluating everything. I really wanted to delve into this video on the club's finances, the club's structure, the potential scenarios if Roman Abramovich ever sold his football club. But I want to give you guys that in-depth analysis. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.